Two trucks having sex. Two trucks having sex. My muscles involuntarily flex. Two trucks having sex. Two trucks having sex. My muscles involuntarily flex. Two pickup trucks making love, American made.
Listen up, Autothoughts and Decepticlowns. You are listening to Prime Cuts, a non-linear history of the Transformers franchise on television. I'm one of your hosts, Nero.
And I'm your other host, Audrey.
And today we begin Transformers Animated Season 1. Technically, not really. These 3 episodes we're covering today were aired as a television movie outside of the episode order for Season 1. It's weird.
However, they are now played as separate episode on streaming sites, of which there are a couple for animated.
Yeah, there's plenty of options. It is, of course, on Tubi, but I know some people wanted some subtitle options, of which Tubi does not have for animated. So where else can you watch it?
It's on Vudu.
What other made up words can we put in streaming service? It's on Fofum. It's on
Well,
Wabo.
Vudu and Tubi are real.
I know, but there's one that I keep seeing that's like, that one sounds made up. It's
also on YouTube.
Oh yeah. So there's plenty of places. I think maybe even, I don't know if the Transformers channel has all of the episodes, because they kind of just they seem to just sort of randomly upload episodes up there for most shows, or at least that's how it shows up in my subscription feed. But they probably have a few of them up there.
If you have Pluto TV, it's also on that.
Now that's the best streaming service. Yeah, there's plenty of ways to watch Transformers Animated, thankfully. So yeah, we're starting out here. I think, as I said last time, Animated is my personal favorite. It's the show that really, really got me into Transformers. Well, that's not, I guess, not this part. I think Cybertron is the show that really, really got me into Transformers. But Animated is the first show I had, enough of a developed brain to appreciate on a deeper level. And I also wanted to quickly mention at the start here something I forgot in last episode. So the style of the show, as I said, a lot of people from Teen Titans and Ben 10 and other shows like that worked on this, which is how you get from that, including the creative director on this show, Derek J. Wyatt, who did pass away last year. So I just wanted to give a quick shout out to him, because he was a fantastic character designer.
Yeah, and you really the character design for sure, you can see the evolution from those shows to this, but also the way that it is animated, the movement in the show is very consistent between it and other shows, which is really interesting in a show like a Transformers show, where all of your characters are supposed to be hard metal robots.
Yeah.
But they move in very soft, organic ways.
And they look very, they have all of their character designs, these full of these soft curves, and they don't look like your average Transformer, especially not before this. But to sort of balance that out, I think one thing I've always kind of liked about Animated's portrayal of Cybertronians is that this is probably the most robotic portrayal of Cybertronians in a while, in terms of their just general visual and especially audio design.
Well, the audio design for sure. They are put through several filters.
And also they're always making these beeps and their movements. You can kind of hear the servos whirring. I have always really adored that effect.
Yeah.
So that kind of helps sell the sort of big robot part of the setting more than the very fluid and soft animation. So I say we go ahead and get into the first episode, or first part of Transform and Roll Out here, which starts with the G1 footage.
Well, first of all, before we get the G1 footage, we get a variation of the G1 opening.
That's right. Yeah, this is a like very kind of loud late 2000s pop rock reimagining of the G1 opening.
Yeah. This is like Imagine Dragons. This is G1 opening.
This is Imagine Dragons has never made any song this exciting.
Okay, but you know I'm right, though.
Yeah.
You can dislike Imagine Dragons, but this is the Imagine Dragons cover of the G1 song. Song.
I can't bring up another band, and I can't bring to mind another band to dispute it. So yeah, we start with the G1 archival footage, which I think is an interesting choice.
It's so cool.
With because we immediately establish through the narration of this historical footage that this show is set after the end of the Great War. The Decepticons are gone. Exiled from Cybertron. They haven't been seen in millions of years. And seemingly peace has arrived on Cybertron. Well, and all of this is established through literal clips from G1.
Imperialism has arrived on Cybertron. No, yeah, and who's watching this but Optimus, who is a huge history buff. And he's sort of not rebuked necessarily, but he is interrupted by Ratchet, who is the oldest and grumpiest version of Ratchet you'll ever see in animated. And Ratchet basically comes up to him and goes, "I don't know why you watch these things all day." And Optimus is like, "Well, you were there. Like, you didn't have to watch these things. It was like, you experienced it. You lived it." Ratchet was like, "Yeah, and it sucked."
Yeah, he's like, "Listen, kid, you can think, you think the Great War is all glamorous and shit. I'm here to tell you it's not. It was ass."
Optimus has a big thing of like, I was born in the wrong decade.
Yes, he animated Optimus is absolutely that. He's leaving that under every fucking Metallica song.
Yeah, he was like born in a wrong decade. The conflict with Decepticons sucks these days. I wish I was there when when Megatron was great. And Ratchet's basically like, you should be happy that it's peaceful. The war sucked. You should be glad to have like the maintenance job that we are responsible for, and this is where they establish that they have a maintenance job, that they're a maintenance crew. The maintenance crew that we're in charge of may not be the most glamorous life, but it's safe and it's stable, and my god, you should appreciate that. And outside, Bulkhead and Bumblebee are just like doing it not great in space.
Yeah, Bulkhead has somehow gotten himself stuck to a rock. Yeah, I like this. I like how quickly they establish everything here. The exposition feels nice and breezy and like not unnatural. We get all the character dynamics in here, especially one of the most important ones with Optimus and Ratchet. And so yeah, Optimus. I love this line where Optimus gets ready to go out and help Bulkhead unstick himself. And he makes the thing he's feeling. Have you ever feeling you were made for something greater, Ratchet? And Ratchet puts his hand on his shoulder and is like, "Buddy, I've got something that'll delete that feeling like a bad line of code."
The way I wrote down my note for that is, "Ratchet, I'm depressed. Would you like a lobotomy?"
So they go outside. Yeah, we introduced to Bulkhead and Bumblebee here. Bulkhead he's a goofier version of his animated his Prime incarnation. He's much more of the big lovable goofball and less of the like big lovable goofball who also tears people's heads off.
There's also, I would say, less of a sense of responsibility in animated Bulkhead than of his Prime counterpart. You don't always see it, but I think, in Prime, especially being paired up with Miko, Bulkhead was forced to be
responsible.
To take on responsibility that you don't get the animated Bulkhead taking on sort of ever.
In general, all of the cast members of animated, save Ratchet, obviously, are fairly young in terms of like Cybertronians. These are a group of fucking greenhorns basically, and Bumblebee is the youngest one. I've always liked animated Bumblebee. He is he is towing the line of like being too annoying while still being tolerable and enjoyable and like a pretty good character.
He feels like now I've never please before anyone comes for me about this, I've never watched TMNT in my life, but he feels like I think Raph.
No, Michelangelo is the party boy.
Okay, yeah, he feels like Michelangelo. But...
Yes, he is definitely the Michelangelo of this show. He's like, I think Bumper Robinson does a very good job with his performance. It's like, I don't know how to describe it. It's just like a very unique sort of take on Bumblebee's vocal performance, which is like, usually, well, after this, usually Bumblebee beeps and boops a lot and doesn't have a vocal performance. Right. Or in Rid, his vocal performance is nothing really.
He's normal in Cyberverse.
Yes, he's normal in Cyberverse. Thankfully, I think he does go through a beep boop period in Cyberverse.
He does, but he definitely has his own voice that he uses often in Cyberverse. And one of the other cool things that we get at this point that I just want to point out really quickly, we get to see their Cybertronian alt modes, which are really fun designs.
I love all of the Cybertronian designs in this show. They're so cool looking. I
mean, we mentioned this before, but because of the art design of animated, you get these very... There's like real organic life in all of the machines, including when they don't look like organic life. This isn't just in their Cybertronian modes. It will, when they take on Earth alt modes as well, they will, the cars will move. They will raise their shoulders sort of in ways that, machines certainly can't or don't. They do a lot of half transformations. They'll transform an arm out to dump someone outside of their body.
It's very bouncy and expressive and fun. They did the animators just like they just like they don't really care that much about keeping things as consistent. They're just like, look, it would be funny if Bumblebee stuck his arm out here.
Yeah,
or it'd be funny if Optimus his cab kind of looked like he was making a concerned face.
Right. And it's a lot like, because it's a lot of the same team, Beast Boy transforming into animals and the expressions and, fluidity he's able to get through some of that stuff as well. So, seeing them in their Cybertronian alt modes, which are like very distinctly alien, but still like very sensical for what their root modes are, and being able to see them sort of like emote through it, it's really fun.
Yes. By the way, you could actually buy Optimus and Megatron's Cybertronian forms as toys. They were like were part of the first wave, and they were packaged with this episode, I believe. Spoilers, Megatron's going to show up shortly, but before he does, we also meet the last member of our little team here, Prowl, who's a little bit of a jackass. He's got a little bit of an ego on him.
I love that, like, this Prowl's so different than any other Prowl that has ever existed, and still equally as unlikable.
Absolutely. He's like, so, like, obviously, Prowl is always a prick. This is a general rule. I think this Prowl is, like, he is not so much a prick as he's very cocky, he's very self-assured, and he's just kind of distant and aloof. Because he's always, like, doing shit without telling his teammates or just taking it upon himself to do stuff. And Optimus is like, can you please fucking work as a team here? And he's like, I don't need to work as a team. I'm Prowl.
They wanted to have Drift so badly, but Drift wouldn't really be invented for another 5 years.
He didn't exist
for another
yet.
5 years or so.
This really is kind of a proto Drift.
I will say, even though he is kind of an ass, he's not. I think there's a distinction for me between an ass and an asshole, and I don't think he's an asshole, but he is an ass.
He's an ass. He's not an asshole. He's very different from most Prowls.
But I will say he even though he is an ass, he is also way cooler than any Prowl deserves to be.
Oh
Remember, kids, all cops are bastards always.
He's a fucking cool ninja guy with like he's one of the only Autobots with like something that could really be considered built-in weaponry, which I'll talk about here in a bit. But by the way, Prowl voiced by Jeff Glenn Bennett, who is, of course, probably most well known for Johnny Bravo, but he's all over the fucking place. He's a huge voice actor. And he voices quite a few characters in this show as well. He is also the voice for Ultra Magnus, where he is doing his best Robert Stack impression from the Transformers the movie. And I think it's a pretty good one.
He's trying very hard.
Anyway, they like, so they're out here. They are a space bridge maintenance and repair crew. They are basically blue collar construction workers, and they're out here in the fucking ass end of nowhere, repairing a space bridge. And Bumblebee's like, why the fuck does anyone even care about whether or not this fucking space bridge is up? It is literally in the middle of nowhere. And Optimus, Optimus, he puts his foot up on a rock and he's like, all right, everyone, listen up. And everyone is immediately groaning at his shit because he's about to launch into a speech.
Prompt shows up on the screen that says nobody like that.
Yeah, he's like, we are all the glorious cogs in the great Autobot machine, and we all have to do our part, and even though it doesn't seem important, it's all important. And I was like, yeah, all right, let's get to work. He's
interrupted by Teletran 1. What I really love about Animated, and I think it's because it existed at a time just before the Transformers franchise really shot off again with the Bayverse movies, or at least was developed before then.
Yeah, because as we discussed, I believe they made some last minute cast changes to the roster here,
right,
to reflect the movie.
But given that it was developed before the franchise sort of really became part of a cultural zeitgeist in a way it hadn't been since the 80s, that there are, for as strange and different and creative many of the things are, a lot of other elements of it really are like a love note to G1. So, including Teletran 1, for example, is something that we hadn't really seen since G1, and still haven't really seen afterwards. I'm not sure why, but Teletran 1 is the Autobot artificial intelligence that runs the Ark. And, like, I had to imagine that, like, everyone who was working on Animated was including some of these details because they were such real big fans, because these are details that like you wouldn't know if you were just like a casual fan of Transformers at that point in 2007.
There is an even more like upfront G1 parallel in the next episode, where it's just like straight out of the opening of G1. So exactly. Teletran 1. Before Teletran 1 calls in a little bit later, because what happens is they're clearing rocks, they're showing off, working on the space bridge, which suddenly activates.
Oh right, sorry.
And then Optimus turns it off, but before he could, something fell through, and Ratchet they see a pile of glowing rods, and Ratchet immediately goes, "Nope. Leave that there. Don't touch that shit. Do not." And then Optimus digs it up.
Optimus is like, I did it 35 minutes ago, Ratchet.
And it's a weird, like, glowing dodecahedron. And Ratchet's like, well, fuck.
Balls.
God damn it. He's like, all right, everyone. Because this is when Teletran 1 pops in. It's like, Decepticon warship detected, and Ratchet's like, okay, time to go. Get the thing in the truck, put it in my ass. We're going to the ship. We're leaving. And Optimus is like, whoa, hey, hang on. You were just saying that we should leave it here. And Ratchet's like, yep, we should have, but we can't.
But yet, then you touched it.
Then you fucking touched it.
It's no take backsies.
Gotta go. But yeah, so one thing about the Autobots in this show that I have found very interesting, from a sort of character design and thematic standpoint, is while the Decepticons are covered with guns like usual, most of the Autobots, especially our main cast that we see, their built-in equipment is much less combat oriented. Like so Bumblebee has these very low wattage like electric blasters. Bulkhead's got a wrecking ball. Ratchet has these magnets. Optimus has an axe, but it is less an actual battle axe and more of a fire axe. The only one who has actual weapons is Prowl, who has shurikens.
Yeah, and they kind of suck.
And they aren't that great. But yeah, because the war is over, a lot of the newer generation of Autobots don't have built-in weaponry anymore, which I think is a really neat touch, and a thing that very much establishes them as like even more underdogs, as we'll see shortly.
Yeah. There's a lot of thing that establishes them as underdogs.
Yes.
Mostly scale.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about how with this show's sort of interpretation of the Decepticons shortly. It's another aspect that I really like. So they loaded onto the ship, and Ratchet's like, okay, so everyone knows about the Allspark, right? The limitless gift of divine energy that's maybe gave the spark of life to all Cybertronians. And Bumblebee's like, yeah, but that's like a story. And Ratchet says, well, you best start believing in cube stories, son.
You're in one.
You're in one.
Oh, Christ. What I really like about this is that Optimus turns to Ratchet and is like, and he's like, you're saying we found the Allspark? And Ratchet just like grits his teeth and looks at Optimus and goes, no, I'm saying it found us.
Fucking artifacts be finding shit. Be finding, unwilling heroes all the goddamn time. So Optimus calls up the Elite. Oh, by the way, earlier after that action sequence where they clear the rocks and stop the bridge from activating, Bumblebee's like, holy shit, Boss Bot, you got some sick moves. Where'd you learn that? And Optimus is like kind of sheepishly says, oh, I went to the Autobot Academy. And everyone's like, well, wait, how the fuck did an Academy bot end up in the ass into nowhere with a bunch of fucking construction goons?
I was very bad at it.
And he doesn't answer that, because that's when they find the Allspark. So Optimus uses some of that pull to call Autobot HQ. And I really love Bumblebee going like, wow, when you make a call, you go right to the top, huh? And you just see the smuggest look on Optimus's face.
Oh, unfortunately, the top sucks as well.
So someone answers, and the holo screen is filled with Chin, because it's fucking Sentinel Prime.
It's everyone's favorite character, the Tick.
He is literally just the Tick, and he is indeed voiced by the voice actor for the Tick from the animated show. I can get him here in a minute, but yeah, and Sentinel is literally just the Tick.
He's also the guy who sucks, but we'll get there.
He's the guy who sucks a lot, and he does not have depression, so he's not getting out of this one.
Yeah.
Townsend Coleman, that's his name. But yeah,
here's a little cheat code for you, and we've mentioned this before. If there's a Sentinel Prime in your piece of Transformers media, he's the guy who sucks.
Yeah, normally he's the guy who had the mantle right before Optimus, but sometimes he's just some other extant shithead who is sort of unrelated. So yeah, Optimus calls him and immediately Sentinel's like, "Oh, look at you, motherfucker! Oh, that little fucking Optimus calling in, ooh!" And then Optimus just shows him what's in the cargo hold, and he's like,
"Well, no. First, he's like, I need to speak to the boss."
That's right.
And Sentinel's like, "You really think you're important enough to speak to the boss?" And Optimus is like, yeah, display camera in the cargo hold. And there's just like shows the Allspark, and there's just like silence. And then Sentinel's like, I'm going to get the boss.
I'll patch you through. This is when Ultra Magnus shows up, who is the supreme commander of the Autobots in this universe. He is a very stern, no-nonsense kind of guy. And he tells Optimus, all right, we're we're tracking you. That Decepticon warship you detected is probably just a scout ship. There's no way they would come this near to Autobot space. Just sit tight.
What he says it is most likely a scout ship that just got lost. No Decepticon would be foolish enough to actually attack an Autobot. That would reignite the war, and we won the war. So, wait for further instructions.
Yeah, and Optimus, he's like, Optimus, don't be a hero. It's not in your programming. And then hangs up. And
Optimus is like, might be in my programming.
Maybe it could be. And he immediately goes to do something. He has Ratchet set a course for the nearest space bridge. They're heading out. And so the earlier Optimus, someone asked Ratchet, well, I thought the Decepticons were all destroyed. And Ratchet's like, no, they were defeated. They were never destroyed. And Bumblebee's like, so why can't we get a visual on the ship yet? It's really close to us. I can't seem to see it. And then
there's a bit of concern about about what their plan to get out of here is.
Yeah.
And Optimus is like, it's fine. Like, we will find a route, and if there's any obstacles in the way, we will just blast through the obstacles, and that's it. We're going to not engage, right? Like,
yes.
we will find a way out of this. If there isn't a route, I will make one by blasting through.
And then the viewport is filled with purple because the Nemesis has maneuvered directly in front of them, and it's huge.
I would say that the arc here is maybe, I don't know, a 20th of it?
Yeah, like by human scales, the arc is pretty big. However, the Nemesis...
It is not a scouting ship. It is a warship. It is the Nemesis.
The Nemesis in this universe is like it looks to be several miles long. It's
the size
big.
of the Enterprise. It is a functioning city.
It's huge. And Bumblebee's like, I don't think we're going to blast through that one. And we cut into the interior of the Nemesis where we get to meet our principal Decepticon cast. So...
Meet the Starscream!
Yeah,
same as the old Starscream.
Instantly, Starscream's very first line of dialogue is going, I think Megatron's stupid!
Well, it's more than just thinking he's stupid. It's like literally the exact same thing in Prime, where he's like, after Megatron gets got and is in a coma, where Starscream's like, he has led us astray, but I can lead us to victory.
Yep.
And it's like, is he dead? Where is he? Like, he's room over.
Yeah,
Spoilers, one room over.
He's just in the other room. Yeah, and so as I said before, this is Tom Kenny, and he is just devouring every inch of scenery he can as Starscream. This Starscream is sort of like, what if G1 cartoon Starscream actually had some teeth? What if he actually had some, menace to him? Yeah,
this is like, I would say necessarily, I wouldn't go so far to say competent, because he does, he makes a lot of foolish mistakes in the way that all Starscreams do. But I think menacing is a good word for it. There is an intimidation factor to this Starscream that I would say is greater than probably any other, except possibly Prime. It's not less than Prime's. It may be equal than Prime's at sort of his best. But I do think, but the thing about Prime Starscream, as we obviously discussed, is that he gets brought very low, and his intimidation factor is not very consistent.
Yeah, he can be made to be very pathetic very quickly. Animated Starscream is like, he's silly, but he's never pathetic.
He's never pathetic. Yeah, like, that's interesting. And he is brought quite low as well. But even when he is like really down at his lowest, which is an extended period of time, he does not stop having that bite. He continues to snark back at everyone. he has reason to think that he won't have any serious repercussions, I guess, which the other Starscreams lack. But you know, he is never pathetic. And one of the other things I want to talk about is the color choice for him.
Yes, it's very interesting.
So in animated, Starscream is gray and magenta. Mostly magenta. So his torso is magenta, and the stripes on his wings are magenta, and then his legs and arms are gray, and his face is gray. It's an interesting choice for a boys show, but I think it's really interesting going back to the idea of Energon being the color of of pink being the color of Energon, and seeing Transformers who are pink, and being like, oh shit, they're painted like blood, and that being like a very intimidating factor in universe, in canon.
See, I looked at him and I saw the G1 in him, but I definitely also saw a little bit of Armada in his design as well. Like the coloring is kind of reminiscent, and the sort of general silhouette.
The color blocking is definitely similar to Armada, and in terms of the silhouette, it's almost. I mean, it's just like much more fluid than G1 or Armada.
It's kind of it's a synthesis of sort of both design ideas, which I really like. So he's boasting, and immediately after he says all that shit about how he would make a better leader, a shape in the corner starts walking forward, and you realize, oh, that's a man, and he's very big and has one eye, and he's very loyal. But make no mistake, this is not Shockwave. This is Lugnut. You can tell because Shockwave is very smart, and Lugnut, he can't keep a lot of thoughts in his head. Most of his thoughts are about how cool Megatron is. But other than that, not a whole lot going on in there. And he's basically like, Megatron is great. You shut the fuck up, or I'll kill you.
Less effective Tarn.
Basically. And we also see Black Arachnia. An interesting inclusion. A Beast era character put in this very G1 flavored show, but it also makes sense because those two are interconnected. And she is very much she's over all of this posturing. She has a
great line here, actually, where as Starscream's going on, they start getting into a bit of a cat fight, and what she says is, blow it out your ass.
Yep. And they, I think is it Starscream or Blitzwing who mentions her techno-organic form?
It's Blitzwing,
who enters shortly afterwards.
It's like, which of us is the bigger freak? Surprise, It's you! Haha.
Yeah. So Blitzwing in this show, he is a triple changer. However, this has also given him 3 faces with their own distinct personalities that he switches to seemingly at random. There is an icy, monocled face. There's a big chinned. I mean, it's this show, so everyone has a big chin, but a particularly big chinned, hot-headed face that's sort of modeled after Arnold Schwarzenegger. And then there's a weird pumpkin face.
He looks like the virus from Scooby-Doo Cyber Chase.
He does, but in black and red.
Yeah, instead. But it's that sort of same early Y2K concept of what an anthropomorphic virus looks like.
Yeah, and so we have the icy Blitzwing, the hot-headed Blitzwing, the crazy Blitzwing, who is he's the low random Blitzwing because he starts dancing.
They all have different voices as well. Icy speaks in a posh English accent, or an attempt at a posh English accent.
I think it's supposed to be clipped German, fancy German. It? Yes, I think they all have German accents.
Is it all German? Okay, yeah, okay. So his is a clip posh.
I guess Hothead Blitzwing is Austrian.
Yeah, technically that's Austrian. But no. So Hothead is a Schwarzenegger impression, and the sort of crazy one is, I forgot what the fan name for that one is.
I don't remember.
It is Icy
either.
and Hothead.
Yeah, it's Icy, Hothead, and I don't remember the third one. But yeah, so they're all bickering with each other. about various things. Yeah, so we also hear that Black Arachnia is some kind of like techno-organic transformer, which Blitzwing finds distasteful. He's like, yeah, actually, I've got 3 faces, but you're the way bigger freak. And
Random
so
is
all,
the last one.
Yes, random Blitzwing. And they're all arguing. And this is when Megatron enters the bridge and tells them all to shut up.
Yeah, and they do, and they file into rank.
And immediately Starscream is in suck up mode. It's amazing.
Well, what's interesting is that, there is a command structure here.
Yes.
And Starscream is second in command. So when, Megatron walks in, he goes to the front and he goes, Starscream report.
And he does. He's like, well, we've detected this. Great and glorious Megatron. We've detected an energy signature very similar to the Allspark on this tiny Autobot ship. And he's like, great, I'm going to go get it. And
there's a little thought bubble coming out of his head that says, bites you and bites you and bites you and bites you.
It starts like, I'll go get it for you, my glorious liege. And Megatron's like, no.
Well, he does more than that. He grabs Starscream by the wing and he's drags him to it, and he crumples the top of Starscream's wing and he goes, you're not going, I'm going myself. I'm not letting you anywhere near the Allspark unsupervised. And
immediately establishing this Megatron is like, no, this one doesn't take any shit. This one is not here to like let Starscream do anything. He's like, no.
And he lets go, and he turns around, and he walks away, and the camera stays on Starscream for just a beat longer, just long enough for him to mutter under his breath, well, I'll just get these fixed then.
It's really funny. So I want to talk a little bit about animated Megatron, because he's fucking great. This is Corey Burton, classically Shockwave's voice actor, but he's all over the franchise, obviously. He's a very prolific voice actor. And this Megatron is definitely the most muted and subdued Megatron. Like,
he's erudite.
This dude's like very, very menacing. He takes no shit. He's very intelligent. Like, he's got it all figured out, and he knows what he wants, and what he wants is the Allspark. But yeah, so as he's getting ready to go and fly out to get the Allspark himself, Starscream, gives him some encouragement and a friendly pat on the back.
Yep. Do we see what he puts on now?
Yes, it's like we see it immediately.
Deadliest kick me sign.
It looks like, it's just a big fucking like blinking light. And he's like, oh, good luck. And Megatron's like, I don't believe in luck. And he flies off.
And Starscream says, neither do I.
Ta-da. So immediately back on the Ark, they get a visual on Megatron. Oh, by the way, there's a moment of panic when they realize that the ship that's chasing them is the Nemesis, and Bumblebee's like, whoa, hang on, you mean that's Megatron's ship? The Megatron? Oh, okay, well, I guess we're dead.
Yeah, been nice knowing you, but we are super going to die.
Yeah, so as of yet, we haven't really seen the main thing that separates the Autobots and the Decepticons in this show, because obviously we've seen the ships and their huge scales, but it's a Decepticon warship, it's an Autobot maintenance cruiser. Obviously they're not going to be the same scale. So as Megatron flies out, and they're like trying to keep him away from the ship, with Optimus literally using the manipulator arms for moving rubble to like try and hold Megatron down. He sends Bulkhead and Bumblebee out over to the cargo hold to guard it, while everyone else, I think Ratchet and Prowl stay on the bridge. This is when Starscream blows the bomb and shit starts going haywire. So Megatron explodes, and at first you just see his like disembodied arm still holding onto the top of the Ark.
We did it.
He's dead. He's already dead. It's fine. We're done.
Yeah, Starscream's certainly celebrating.
Yes, he is literally going, ooh, yeah. He's like yelling and cheering, and then he's like, all right, gotta compose myself, gotta turn around.
No. It's, the words he say are, he goes, solemn face. Face.
So, he starts walking over back to the bridge. Optimus is like, whoo, all right, everyone all right? Where'd Megatron go? And then the smoke clears, and Megatron's in there. And one thing you may notice about Megatron, he's very big.
The scale is like
It's
untenable.
insane.
It's untenable.
Optimus is literally half his height, and he is like the biggest one here other than Bulkhead. Later, we see Starscream holding Bumblebee, and literally Bumblebee looks like a toy. Decepticons in the show are, as a rule, fuck huge. Like, I think the one thing I really like about the show is that often the Autobots and Decepticons, you know, they're obviously factions, but they feel like the same kind of thing. This show really makes them feel like two distinct groups in terms of just like the way they are. And Megatron just starts slapping everyone around like nothing. He literally only has one arm. His other arm is like mostly endoskeleton at this point, and he's just fucking destroying them.
Absolutely irrelevant. Yeah.
And like they can't get their fucking shit together for a minute. Prowl manages to like pull off a cool ninja move with a decoy to cut Megatron, the remains of Megatron's arm off, and like that was a pretty cool move. Unfortunately, didn't fucking matter.
This is an important thing to talk about because this sort of establishes a core thing about Prowl's character in this show, which is that he is not a team player at all.
No.
So Optimus sees Prowl going for Megatron, and he's like, no, Prowl, don't, you'll die super bad. And then it ends up being the decoy. And Optimus sort of like looks at the real Prowl afterwards and says, well, the decoy was a good idea, but I wish you'd given us a heads up. And Prowl will continue to not do that, much to his detriment.
He has a funny line. He's like, well, if I gave you a heads up, it wouldn't have worked. But that doesn't do anything to Megatron. They turn off the gravity at one point to try and get an upper hand. They sort of do for like 2 minutes.
I mean, you don't get an upper hand. They level the playing field a little bit.
Yeah,
There's no point in this fight where the Autobots have the upper hand, I would say.
I mean, thankfully, like, Starscream's bomb blew up Megatron's fusion cannon, because otherwise...
Oh, yeah, that should be noted as well. That we didn't talk about, but before he gets blown up...
Oh, it's so cool.
We do get to see Megatron's fusion cannon, and it is gnarly. Now, that is a fucking fusion cannon.
It's like half his fucking body height. It's huge. And also, guess what? It's got the classic G1 thwomp noise.
It sure does. Oh, it's so sexy.
But yeah, so that's gone. Otherwise, this fight would have been over now, like immediately. But as it is, it's not looking good. The Allspark shrouds the Ark in energy and sends it hurtling through the space bridge, and then the space bridge explodes behind it. And this is when Starscream heads up to the bridge. Is like, my Decepticons, I'm so sorry. Megatron has passed. I will now take command. And he turns around, and there's no one there, and all of the escape pods eject from the Nemesis.
Yeah. He's like, where did everyone go? And then he gets absorbed by the sun. Now,
He gets blown the fuck up.
Folks, we've made this joke in every series we've watched so far about the Starscream death counter. However, it is a very real thing in animated.
Oh, yes.
So, Starscream death counter 1.
Yeah, keep a track on that. It's going to go up real high at some point.
We're at 1. We will be at 2 by the end of this episode.
So the Ark comes out of hyperspace over a very familiar-looking blue planet. And Megatron is still beating the shit out of everyone. They sort of tumble towards the cargo hold. It's just Optimus and Megatron now. Megatron is momentarily distracted by the Allspark, which allows Optimus to pull a pretty cool maneuver. He opens the airlock and like forces Megatron out while they're burning up in re-entry.
Yeah. And you see, it has a very 86 movie, I still function feel to it.
He plummets to the earth.
Limitedly functions at this point.
Yeah. So he plummets to the earth in a huge fucking fireball. We see what the fuck was this? This town had a weird name that I can't remember. But like we see a barn with the name Sumdac on it, and there's a guy in there tinkering with some inventions, and then
a little kid.
Yeah, he's not like a little. He's probably like high school age in this.
Yeah, okay,
I would say.
fine. He's middle school, high school kid.
Yeah, because I think he's like early
in his 60s.
Yeah, he's like in his 60s in the present. But he sees a big explosion outside, and he goes out to investigate and finds Megatron's fucking head in his backyard. Where's the rest of him? We don't know, but Megatron seems dealt with now. This is another thing that Animated pulls from the movie, not just the Allspark, which I haven't remarked on yet, but obviously the Allspark is the main thing in the 2007 movie, and it's the main thing in this show as well. And unlike the movies, the show doesn't forget about it.
Yes.
But Megatron, as we see later, being the like secret source of a human technological boom, is also straight from the movies. And so yeah, we see the Autobots like preparing to enter stasis lock to cushion themselves from the crash. Optimus pulls the ship away from crash landing in a city because he's just like that, and instead it plummets directly into Lake Erie.
But like right next to Detroit.
Yeah, he didn't hit Detroit. He did, but I mean, hey, Lake Erie's big. There's a lot of shipwrecks in it, so fits right in.
Can't have shit in Detroit.
Well, it turns out actually we can have a lot of shit in Detroit because we skip 50 years. Not quite as long of a nap as G1 Autobots had, but still fairly long. And here's where we enter one of perhaps the least well-aged parts of Animated.
Yeah, you gotta kind of just grin and bear
Tom
it.
Kenny performing Isaac Sumdac's voice. Not what one would go with today, certainly.
One would hope.
Yeah, definitely not in a post The Problem with Apu world, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, Sumdac's like an interesting character, right? Because
yes.
like his actual character is not at all filled with racist stereotypes.
No,
right?
it's just the voice. The voice
right,
is
exactly.
just
like his character is like a very well-rounded like inventor,
and he's also very round.
And he's round, but like there's nothing like, first of all, there's nothing inherently like South Asian about his character.
Not really,
and
no.
it is actually pretty cool that they made their central character, human character, both he and Sari, his daughter, who we'll get to in just a moment, like explicitly brown and very clearly visually brown. Like, that's a cool decision to make for your cartoon 15 years ago. However,
less cool is this fucking voice.
Yeah. And I'm just like not sure why they chose to go. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I don't know why I'm like, I think they could have gone with anyone else other than Tom Kenny, or like not gone with this. Right.
Like they could have just like not had an accent for her. I mean, Sari doesn't have an accent.
She doesn't. Like, I guess like maybe Sumdac is like a second generation immigrant or whatever, but we don't get any of that detail.
Right.
Like you said. So like, yeah, but the voice, you just gotta like sort of slide past it. It's gonna be here the whole show, I'm afraid.
Yeah, it's not going anywhere. You just gotta grin and bear it.
He doesn't like cough halfway through season 2 and goes, hello everyone. No, but he is here to sort of introduce us to the main setting of Transformers Animated Future Detroit, where he explains that over the past 50 years, he and his company have revitalized Detroit, turning it into the center of robotics instead of the center of automotive industry. And he's got a very rosy like monologue about how robots are our friends and they help us out and like all that sort of stuff. And Future Detroit almost seems like a sort of fucking fully automated gay luxury space communism situation. almost.
Yeah, I mean, not gay, but yeah.
Yeah, but like it's but it's revealed he's given a tour to some kids. Also, this is the first time we see the fucking cameo from Daniel and Carly from G1, who show up quite a lot. Not Daniel, Spike. Daniel's also in the show, but he's a kid. But yeah, I think he's in this tour.
Sparkplug is
actually.
also here.
That's right.
Reduced to a toy.
So yeah, he's giving a tour to these kids, but it is interrupted by Sari, his daughter here, who is chasing around her robotic pet Sparkplug, and she immediately establishes herself as like very socially awkward, I would say.
So, a quick note: Sari is voiced by Tara Strong, who is at her most Tara Strong, I would say, in Sorry. It's like if you got like the slider perfectly between Twilight Sparkle and Timmy Turner.
Yeah.
That's where Sorry's sitting.
Honestly, that's a great way to put it, because there's a kid in this crowd who is also voiced by Tara Strong, who is literally just the Timmy Turner voice.
Yeah. So her like normal speaking voice is like a wilder Twilight Sparkle, but like she goes high pitch often, and that slides into Timmy Turner to
Yeah.
I'm a 12-year-old boy. Come closer.
Yep.
Closer.
Absolutely. So yeah, Sari immediately she does some weird stuff with gum and grosses everyone out, and sometimes like, okay, you need to go now, Sari. Tutorbot, come get her. Tutorbot, of course, also Tom Kenny. This dude.
Please be nice to my definitely normal daughter.
Yeah, she's very normal. She's just awkward. There's nothing else going on with her. And yeah, so they get over to the nanobot lab, and Sumdak's explaining like these nanobots are gonna revolutionize the medical field and will be able to do stuff that's too small and finicky for human hands. And immediately the bots graft to a cockroach and start absorbing all of the metal within fucking reach, and start curing all over the goddamn place.
We love to slurp.
Oops. So yeah, we're transferring roll out part 2. And the thing about these episodes is that they are split into 3 episodes, but you can definitely tell these are meant to be viewed as like a movie. There's no real like.
The first 2 parts certainly are. I think the third part maybe could stand on its own.
Yeah, but it's definitely like the act structure is not contained within a single episode. Each episode is an act. You got the first act, the second act, the third act. And we start up right where we left off with the fucking nano beast like slurping and growing and getting big and gross. And this is when one of my favorite characters gets a call. So we see a guy at the burger bot. He's getting ready to chow down on a fucking robo burger or whatever the hell. And he gets a call on his fucking shortwave radio. This is Police Captain Fanzone. And this is Jeff Glenbennon again, sort of doing an accent that is like maximum Wisconsin, like Wisconsin, Minnesota. This dude's from fucking Fargo. Oh, and he hates machines. He wants you to make sure you know that. It's the first thing he says once he gets on scene. He goes, "This is why I hate machines." But yeah, he by the way, his vehicle is like a tiny yellow car. Keep an eye out for that later. But yeah, Captain Fanzone arrives, and immediately he immediately says his catchphrase, "This is why I hate machines." He's got a beautiful mustache.
Not a very big fan for a man named Fanzone.
He is shaped. This man is like a rectangle.
Man, this man is made out of corners.
He is. He is a fucking pure slab of Midwestern beef.
The only character including the robots who are made out of angles in the show.
Yep. So yeah, the fucking nano beast is once again curing all over the place. There is no other verb for what they're doing, and just slurping on all those machines. And And so while it's doing that, everyone is kind of getting evacuated from Sumdac Labs, and Professor Sumdac is like, "Wait, my daughter's still in there," and yet she is indeed. She's trying to get her fucking key card back from her dog.
Yeah, from her dog, Sparkplug. Remember? I was just like, oh, Sparkplug, how far you've fallen.
How far you've fallen? Maybe when he got old, they put him in a robot dog body. It's like Tristan from Yu-Gi-Oh. So
that's a monkey. How dare you?
When so Fanzo's like, I know how to deal with this. Bring out the fucking RPGs, and Sumdac is immediately like, nah, wait, you shouldn't do that. I would not recommend that.
Fanzone's like, you know what? Maybe this day isn't a bust after all. If I get to destroy some machines.
Yep. And then he blows it up with smart. Apparently, the Detroit PD have smart bombs.
Listen, this is why we tell you to defund the police, folks.
Exactly. They have fucking smart bombs and helicopter drones. Maybe this isn't the fucking gay space communism I was promised. This is something darker. There's something darker at the heart of Detroit. I get, Detroit is where RoboCop takes place, so
And become human.
Oh, shit.
Didn't think of that one, did you?
I didn't, because I was thinking about good things. So the thing explodes into goop, but quickly begins to reconstitute, except one of the goop bits falls into the lake and floats down and gets into the Ark and sets off Teletrain 1's security, who reawakens all of the Autobots from their stasis.
They are fortunately woken before any serious damage.
Yeah, before it can start schlorping. Ratchet immediately grabs it and is like, well, it's definitely at least partially mechanical, but also there's a lot of meat in there.
But Optimus just hears the mechanical part. He's like, cool, that rules. That means we're on a planet with other robotic life.
Yeah, so he sends up Teletrain 1 to scout out. And this is the part that is straight up taken from the opening of G1.
Yes.
Where he's looking at this, he sees the big nano creature, he's like, okay, well, we should help them with that. However, the Decepticons might still be around, so we need to pick some new forms and blend in. Teletrain 1, scan us some alternate modes here. And not only is this a G1 thing, this is also a Beast Wars thing, because while the cube, reaching down from the satellite and scanning the vehicles is literally straight out of G1, them entering this, changing chamber is the beginning of Beast Wars, where all of them go in and reformat into their techno-organic forms.
It's been a hot minute since I watched Beast Wars. I forgot about that.
Yeah, so it's you got both of them in there. It's kind of cool. And so they all get their new looks. And I love how they just kind of awkwardly stand around looking at each other for a minute. Great.
How do I look, honey? Bad.
So everyone but Ratchet heads topside to deal with the situation. And Ratchet's like, all right, I'm going to stay here and figure out what's up with the goop. So Sorry is still inside the building looking for Sparkplug. And they have mistaken the various emergency vehicles on scene for the denizens of the planet. So the Autobots roll out of the lake, and Optimus is like, "Greetings, fellow mechanoids. What seems to be the problem?"
And my God, they've taken all of their voices.
Yes. Oh my God. Then Bumblebee's like, "Does anyone on this planet know how to fucking talk?" Because they keep trying to talk to the cars and the fucking helicopter drones and shit, and they're just like, "What's going on here?" But eventually
they see Sorry trying to capture Sparkplug.
I love this so much because Bulkhead's like, "What the fuck is that?" And Bumblebee's like, "I don't know, maybe the little creature is his pet." And Bulkhead just goes,
"It's pet."
Yeah, it's pet. And Bulkhead just goes, "I don't know why you want a pet that's so much bigger than you, but okay."
Yeah. At this point, it should be noted that Sorry does have Sparkplug on a leash, so they are connected. So it does look a little bit like Sparkplug is walking her.
Yeah.
As opposed to the other way around.
So Bulkhead rolls up and immediately, "Hello there, little creature." By the way, as I mentioned, Bulkhead is voiced by Bill Fagerbaki in this show, listen, there's a lot of line readings that just very much sound like Patrick. He can't help it. He just sounds like that. That's literally just his voice, pretty much.
Imagine alternate universe where everything is exactly the same except Toby Fox sampled Bulkhead for Sans instead of Patrick.
What a weird world. But yeah, so Sari is understandably freaked out by two cars coming up and talking to her. And she screams very loud, which causes Bumblebee to go, "Oh my god, it's got some kind of sonic emitter built into it."
Yeah, a high frequency sonic weapon.
So so she runs directly towards the nano beast.
As she runs by the way, Bulkhead looks at Bumblebee and goes, "I think it's scared." It's like, do you, Bumblebee, Bulkhead?
Damn, this is huge if true.
Huge if true.
But yeah, so she starts running right for the fucking goobledy glop. By the way, interestingly enough, so like, obviously this show is more than any other Transformers show, like a superhero show. The Autobots are literally superheroes in this version of the continuity, pretty much. Like, they're treated as such by the city. And they even have the classic superhero origin, because this is exactly the first issue of the Fantastic Four, where they get all their powers and they fight a big monster that comes out of the ground. This is like classic superhero stuff right here. But yeah, Sari gets grabbed by the creature and menaced. So everyone, Fanzone at this point has called everyone to retreat. And so he looks and he sees a bunch of guys not retreating, and he goes, "What the fuck are what are those cowboys up to?" And he zooms. I love this line because he's looking through his binoculars, and he looks at Prowl, who is sitting there without a driver, and he goes, "Wait, where's the drivers?
What? Where's the driver for my car?"
Why? And he's like, "Wait a minute, why is my car over there?" But yeah, so once Sari gets grabbed, they have to they have to transform and reveal themselves. And Ranzone just leans over and goes like, it says some deck and goes, "They one of yours?" And he goes, "No, but they kind of look familiar though." Weird.
Don't worry. We'll know why by the end of the episode.
So Bumblebee saves Sari as the other Autobots fight the Beast. And I love this because that's when that line happens, and then Fanzone goes, "Yeah, but not familiar enough to trust with your daughter, eh?" And so he orders everyone to attack Bumblebee. Meanwhile, Bumblebee and Sari are talking and getting to know each other. And it's
because
kind of
they
a
are the
scene.
same mental age.
They pretty much are. It's very cute also because Bumblebee's talking to her and he's like, "So what's your name?" And she's like, "I'm Bumblebee. What's your name?" And she goes, "I'm sorry." And he goes, "No, it's okay. I like my name." Stupid. Like, it's such a fucking easy, it's fucking Who's on First shit, but it does get me very good. She's like, no, that's my name. Yeah, this is when the bots, the helicopter drones start attacking him. The fight against the goop monster is going poorly. It eats Bulkhead's ball, singular. And he and Optimus are trying to pull it out from the fucking monster. And then Prowl just cuts the fucking wrecking ball off. And this is after Optimus tells him to lend a servo. And after he does that, Bulkhead goes, "He said lend a servo, not cut a servo, asshole."
Yeah.
And this is the funniest part of the episode. So Optimus is like, "Hey, man, listen, you gotta we gotta work as a team if we can do this." And Prowl goes, "The only team I need is myself." And he does a cool flip and instantly dies.
Yeah. So what he does, he's like, "I'm gonna ninja this." Again, so as established in the first episode, not a team player, and does attacks without, both against Optimus's orders and without notifying Optimus, and attacks right into the nanomachine bug, and gets Akira.
He gets eaten. Immediately after saying, "The only one I need to rely on is myself," and he's like a cool badass ninja, and then he basically fucking slips on a banana peel. Like,
Whoop, 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 whoop.
It's great. So Bumblebee at this point has quickly disabled all of the drones attacking him, leaving Fanzone to be like, "Holy fuck, what the hell is that?" and he deposits Sorry safely onto the roof before rejoining the others. And so Optimus calls Ratchet for backup. He's like, Ratchet, you gotta get down here. And I love this because Ratchet like goes full fucking grandpa bitch mode and is, all right, you little shit, I could go up there right now and immediately die because
and
I'm
Optimus
old.
is like, yes, that sounds great.
And then Ratchet goes, or I can stay down here and finish the fucking override key I'm working on to stop the nanomachines. He goes, oh.
Well, that also sounds pretty good. Yeah, okay.
I guess he should do that one. It's very like this like immediately establishing this Optimus is like he's very overeager, he's very inexperienced, but like his heart's in the right place. He doesn't have the stuff yet. He doesn't have the touch. But so Ratchet delivers him the override key. And he's like, listen, there's like a central circuit located directly in the beast's mouth, but you got to get in there. And Bulkhead and Optimus go, well, you'd have to be pretty small and fast to maneuver yourself up in that. And they both look down at Bumblebee, who goes, I don't know why everyone's looking at me. It's because you're the perfect Vor target, Bumblebee. I'm sorry.
Yeah, time to get a...
So they distract Bulkhead and Optimus distract the beast while Bumblebee goes to ramp it. However, Optimus notices that the beast is fighting way more smartly now, and he realizes that it's absorbing Prowl's intellect. And he's like, wait, hang on, Bumblebee, abort the mission. Don't do it. And Bumblebee's like, too late, man. I'm already going really fast. So Optimus and Bulkhead get eaten.
They do get eaten, yeah.
But thankfully, B does the fucking Beowulf maneuver and jumps right into the beast's mouth, plugs the key in, and it collapses into a pile of inert nanomachines. And
the day was saved thanks to the Powerpuff Girls.
And they're like, "Ooh, all right, that's over with." And Optimus goes over and tells Prowl, "All right, you fucking asshole, don't pull any shit like that again." And then he brushes the nanomachines and he goes, "Oh fuck," because Prowl has a gaping hole in his chest.
Yeah,
and he's dying
immediately. And Optimus is like, "Okay, no one panic. I'm the only one who can panic right now. Bumblebee, you take Prowl back right now immediately."
However, Bumblebee's getting ready to leave to bring Prowl back to the Ark. Sorry, runs in there, was like, you are so cool. All of you guys are fucking rad. Oh, by the way, we forgot to mention, when they first transform, they all have like the cool anime cut-in stock footage transformation with the speed lines and shit. It's pretty cool.
Oh yeah, no, it's very magical, girl.
But Sarah's like, hey, can I come too? And Bumblebee's like, yeah, sure, why not? And so
no, he is not.
Well, okay, she sort of forces the issue. It's like, you probably shouldn't. Then she gets inside his like cab and he goes.
So this is the first part where he actually transforms an arm out to like pick her out of him and put her down.
It's very funny.
He's like, I can't do this right now. Like, I gotta go. My friend is literally dying, please. And she's like, well, just like take me with you. And at that point, she like climbs back in, and she's like half in his like window. And she's like, please, 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 please. And before Bumblebee can like get rid of her again, Optimus is like, Bumblebee, what the fuck are you doing? Prowl is dying. You need to go. You gotta go. And Bumblebee's like, okay, I don't have time to argue with you, but like stay low and stay out of the way. Let's go.
And so he starts driving into the lake, and Sora goes, hey, am I gonna be able to breathe down here? And Bumblebee says, yeah, sure. What's breathing?
Yeah.
It's like, uh-oh.
But she is. It's fine.
She's fine. So we get some shenanigans here at the Ark. Ratchet's doing his best to fix Prowl, but he's like, yeah, it's pretty bad, Optimus. It's some fucking gnarly shit. I don't know how much I'm gonna be able to do. And Bumblebee has been forced to stay in car mode this entire time because Sari is like laying down in his front seat, and she's like fucking around in there and trying to get his attention and honking the horn and causing him to act erratically. So we get some like It's like an inverse of E.T., where it's like the human is among the aliens and the alien has to hide them.
Yeah, so Optimus is like, Bumblebee, what the fuck are you doing? Just like transform into robot mode and stop fucking around. And Bumblebee's like, yes, robot mode. And
So
then he like drives off screen and like wheels, like skids around, does a donut, passes by a vent, which he opens his door, pops Sorry into. She falls down. It's like a laundry chute. And then he like skids back in and transforms. He's like, yes, I'm normal.
Yeah, I'm regular. However, it turns out that chute went to the cargo bay. And Sorry falls down and lands right in front of the Allspark, which does stuff.
They have a quick conversation. It's fine.
Yeah, the Allspark opens up and scans her and makes some noises, and then her key card turns into a normal key, and she goes, what just happened here? That's what Optimus...
It does not turn into a normal key. It
Well,
turns into a key. I would not call this a normal key. It is, it's like something you'd put into an ignition.
Yeah, it's like a car key. This is when Optimus shows up and is like, now, how the fuck did you get here? And Bumblebee says, I'll let you know when I've narrowed down my excuses from the 5 I'm thinking of right now.
God, it's good. But there's not like a ton of time to be mad because Prowl.
Yeah, Ratchet immediately radios Prime and says, hey, Prowl is dying. He's getting worse.
Yeah, you might want to get up here and say goodbye to Prowl before he passes on to the other side.
So they all run up there, but when Sorry gets near Prowl, her key begins to glow.
There is one line before they go up there that I do want to point out, which is when Optimus is questioning it, he doesn't say how did she get here, he says how did it get here.
That's right.
And Sorry's like, I'm not an it, I'm a she. This becomes important later.
That's true. So Sorry's key begins to glow when it gets near Prowl, and so Optimus just kind of like, might as well, and puts her on the operating table and sort of
Bumblebee like lifts her up onto it.
Yeah, just like kind of pushes her towards Prowl, like, do whatever. So she climbs onto his chest, and there's like a slot in there, and she
like an ignition
grabs the key, which transforms, complete with sound, into the key to fit that slot, and she plugs it in, and there's a lot of glowiness, and Prowl is miraculously healed.
And Bumblebee says, can all she's do that?
It's good.
Which is really funny because Black Arachne exists.
That's true. Like
it's not as though
this
is a Transformers universe, unlike IDW, where she/her pronouns are not used.
Yeah, like literally, there's a bunch of lady Transformers animated, like in the background.
Yeah,
and stuff,
I mean,
so
Strike is there.
Yeah, just flew through the Allspark Almec to find a whole bunch of ladies. So it's very funny. Maybe Bumblebee is just an incel. He's never met one. So, but they can't wonder for too long because Teletrain 1 informs them that there's a bunch of spotlights over the lake. And Sorry's like, oh, right. Yeah, my dad's probably looking for me.
Yeah, I'm a missing child. Sorry.
Whoops. So everyone goes up to return Sorry and kind of properly introduce themselves. Fanzone tells them to put their hands up. I don't know if I established how, like, Fanzone is pure comic relief. He is a buffoon. He's such an interesting character archetype to put in this show, but he's a very fun foil.
He's kind of like if J. Jonah Jameson was a police chief.
Yeah, he's a very JJ-esque figure of like, he's technically antagonistic, but not in any real malevolent way, just in a sort of like, he doesn't get along with them really, doesn't like them, but you know, he can't do much about it. But yeah, he tells them to put their hands up and walk towards them real slowly. And Optimus goes, what the fuck does he want him to, what does he want us to do that?
Does he tell them to walk forward?
I think so, yeah. He's
okay.
Hold your hands up and approach slowly. And he's like, Optimus asks Sorry, why do they want us to do that? And then she goes, I don't know, it's to make you look less threatening, probably. So they all raise their hands in the most threatening manner possible and start shambling forward.
To be fair, there is no way they could have done that in a way that wasn't going to look threatening.
Absolutely not. Everyone gets freaked out, but Sorry's like, hang on, whoa, they're friendly, it's fine. And Sumdac immediately runs forward and hugs her, and the situation is diffused. And they all get an official hero's welcome for saving the city from the big nanobug. Isaac shakes Optimus's finger in a very funny scene. He's like, I am happy to welcome these emissaries from Cybertron to Detroit and hope that this is a great future of cooperation between our worlds. And Optimus kind of turns to Ratchet and goes,
Optimus is like loving it.
Yes.
He's like, yes, this is what I was talking about. This is the greater calling that I was meant to do. Like, I could have done nothing like Ultra Magnus told me to do. And where would I be then? Ratchet, this rules. Was this what it was like for you? And Ratchet's just like, no.
Yeah, it's like the Decepticons didn't give us much cause to celebrate, kid. We didn't have a lot of medal ceremonies. And we see later that high above Earth, in a nemesis that is now pretty Swiss cheesed, Starscream, who is sort of got a little crazy from being alone for 50 years, is like, all right, finally I found the fucking Allspark. I'm gonna get it. It's on this
it's only 50 years. It's
that's true. He's only that's being like, it's like being alone for a week and you go a little stir crazy. He hasn't gone mad from the isolation. That would take a long time.
Yeah.
He zooms down on Earth.
He's just been in COVID quarantine.
Yeah, he's like, I'm gonna get you.
And then we get Transformer Rollout Part 3.
And we get a little montage of the Autobots adjusting to life on Earth with various activities. I really like this fucking New Yorker who has been transplanted into fucking
Detroit.
He's like, well, this fucking traffic, I might as well walk here. And Bulkhead behind him goes, hey, man, that's a great idea.
In 50 years in the future, everyone has that accent in the United States, actually.
That's beautiful. So Bulkhead does what he says and starts walking. Prowl is like, everyone's like, yo, is that one of the Autobots? He looks so cool.
Prowl's getting literally shat on.
Yeah, he's getting shot on by birds, but he's like, interesting. Bumblebee teaches Bumblebee how they fuel up and orders way too much food for a young lady of her stature. Ratchet, she's at the Burger Bot and orders like a fucking Big Mac or whatever. I do love that the Burger Bot, the drive-through machine transforms into a chef thing and seemingly prepares your food for you as well. Yeah. Robots can do everything. Ratchet's just trying to take a goddamn nap and they keep giving him parking tickets.
So this brings up an interesting question for me, which is, did they have valid license plates?
No.
Because
ooh,
you have to put that in the license plate when you give out a ticket.
I guess they copied existing cars, so like they would have those vehicles license plates. So then again, do emergency vehicles have license plates? I assume they do.
Yes.
Huh. Right,
everything has to have a license plate.
So maybe what's actually happening is that some other guy some ambulance driver is going to get fucking $3 billion in parking tickets because Ratchet's using his license plate. They're going to have to call Ratchet into fucking traffic court to clear that up.
The last vignette we see obviously is Optimus, this is great. So Optimus is at the park and he was so sorry again. She's doing double duty. They're watching like kids play, and Optimus is like, yeah, no, this is great. I love learning so much about your world. Hey, quick question, sorry. How do you make the little ones?
Yeah,
and she leans down and she whispers in his ear, and Optimus just sort of has his jaw dropped very quickly.
His eyes go wide. He just like stares out into the distance.
Yeah. Fucking explicitly not canon in the TFA universe. On the other side of it, due to Transformers canon spectrum, on one side we have TFA and on the other side we have Bayverse.
Yep. Also, I just want to say, I want to shout out this little
The Armada
Russian,
comic.
that too, but I just want to shout out, God damn it, Don Figueroa. Why he was like, haha, I drew Optimus's dick and balls as a joke. It's like, what? What are you doing?
I would have gotten away with it too if it weren't for those meddling editors.
They should have kept it in. God damn it. But yeah, so one thing I want to point out about this scene also is that I love the tiny communist baby with the Ushanka with only the hammer on it instead of a hammer and sickle.
Yeah.
There's the incidental like background humans in this show look fucking great. All of them are just like a motley crew of little freaks. I love them. But yeah, so we get that. Optimus learns what fucking is, and I presume, sorry to like I'm sure Tuyerbot has a very very clinical terms.
Sorry,
so
definitely knows what fucking is.
Oh yeah. So Sorry then shows all the Autobots to their new home base because she's like, listen, ship at the bottom of Lake Erie is cool and all, but you don't. It's kind of annoying to get to and from, So instead, I took it on myself to find some shitty old rundown industrial park that my dad bought in a merger that doesn't even know he has, and like, hey, here you go, here's your new home. And they look around, and Optimus is like, this is what you humans like to call a fixer-upper, because it's a shithole.
It's not. It doesn't look good.
But Bulkhead's like, I don't care, I'm gonna sit my ass down because I'm tired. And then immediately after he sits down,
ass down and listen.
God, there's some. I just remembered the fucking Bulkhead chair from later.
Oh God.
Hell yes. But yeah, so no sooner has he sat down than they hear sirens in the distance. There's a big high-rise fire, and they gotta go do their stuff. They save everyone with their various heroics, and the city news is like, the Autobots do it again. They also call them Detroit's latest superheroes, which to me seems like there have been other superheroes in this universe.
Yeah, well, they're close to the Canadian border. I'm sure Alpha Squad gets down there.
I was about to say, has Wolverine showed up in Detroit before?
Yeah.
But then we cut to Starscream watching all this and going, hoo, your days as a heroes are numbered, Autobots, I'm coming for you.
Yeah. And he's like, man, I kill all these guys so easily. And fun thing about the Starscream is he can.
Yeah, he definitely can. So we get our intro, and we cut to a ribbon cutting ceremony for Sumdak's new fully automated rapid transit system.
Yeah, it's the fart.
Or the farts. I believe the writers went on record as saying that was a total accident. They didn't intend to it, but it's very funny that they came up with that. I like to think that all of Sumdak's like inventions like this have accidentally dirty acronyms. He made something called the shit. I don't know what the shit stands for.
I don't think it's explicit. I don't think any of them are explicit, but I think they're all things like like the fart or the poop.
I think in the I think in one of the, I can't remember if it was the BotCon comic or one of the Allspark almanacs, there's another Sumdak invention with the acronym BUTS. So yes, by that point they knew.
I think we're looking more at like the Captain Underpants.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Naming convention.
But yeah, so he's unveiling this new train system, and the fan zone is here, the mayor is here, and of course the Autobots are here. And Optimus kind of turns to Ratchet and goes, despite all this, like, I don't know, I still don't really feel like a hero, even though I'm being treated like one. And Ratchet's like, all right, listen, what you need to understand about heroes, kid, is that most of them fucking die.
Yeah, first of all, shut the fuck your mouth.
Like, being a hero is not, you don't get the medals, you don't get the parades. You end up in a fucking unmarked grave on a planet no one knows about. So yeah, we kind of get Ratchet's general philosophy on all of this. I do kind of like it's a simple but strong through line with like the thematics, like what does being a hero mean to like all these characters, especially Optimus. And it's basically as soon as they're done talking about that, we cut to some jets scrambling over an unidentified aircraft. And guess what? It's Starscream. I love that. So two things. One, this scene of him taking apart the Air Force here, very reminiscent to a similar scene in the 2007 movie where Starscream also blows up a bunch of jets.
Yeah, I would say, does he look like ass in the 2007 movie? Yes. Is he effective at what he does? Surprisingly, also yes.
The 2007 movie is the coolest Baver Starscream ever is, unfortunately.
Well, yeah, then listen, you got kids to raise, you got mouths to feed.
And then he gets killed by Shia LaBeouf in the third one. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. Anyway, Starscream pulls the old... So I love... The second thing is I love that they show all of the pilots ejecting, like, way too fast from their jets. Assumedly, technology's advanced to, like, jets know when they're about to blow up, and so they immediately eject the pilot.
Fuck it, we ball.
I would imagine
Fuck it, we bail.
I imagine that was, like, a note from the network, like, okay, you can't have Starscream blow up a bunch of jets. You have to show the guys pop out. Come on now. He scans the jet and goes incognito.
Yeah, he's like, I've also had enough of this. Like, this is also too annoying for me. I need to fit in a bit more.
So he turns into his Earth form, and luckily enough, Sumdac has ordered an air show from the Crimson Angels. So he fits right in there. But really funny, Sumdac is looking up at the jets and he goes, hang on a minute. I only paid for 6 jets. Who's that guy? Why isn't he the same color as the other ones? And then Starscream starts flying towards the fucking podium. Like, directly for the podium.
He's not fucking around.
No.
He's on a mission, and by God.
He blows them the fuck up. All of the Autobots get blasted. And yeah, Starscream very easily just wreck shop here, dispatching all of the Autobots pretty quickly.
So he is not as large as Megatron, but he is still huge compared to the Autobots, including Optimus.
Yeah, he's gigantic. Also, one other thing about this universe is that flight is something that is heavily associated with Decepticons in Autobot minds. Because when they're watching the air show, Bulkhead's like, finally a fucking something that flies that isn't a Decepticon.
Yeah, I mean, it is throughout the franchise, and we talked about this many times, but throughout the franchise, Decepticons have overwhelmingly had the most flyers. Yeah. But this is like the series where it's like, if it flies, it's a con.
Yeah, it's the first one where it's really remarked upon.
If she breathes, she's a con.
Yeah, so Starscream just...
All jets are queens.
If she breathes, she a con. So this is when Starscream fucking wipes the floor for everyone and demands that Optimus bring him the Allspark. And Optimus says, "Fuck off." And Starscream says, "All right, cool. I'm gonna shoot the little fucking organics until you bring me the Allspark."
Well, first he grabs Bumblebee. And...
No, that comes after this, because what happens is...
Oh, right, yeah.
He starts unloading at Fanzone, Sumdac, Sorry, and the mayor, who are running towards the train. Bumblebee then fucking get down, Mr. President, Sorry, gets blasted. And, like, here's the thing about Decepticons in this show. As we will see in the future, they are, like, not gonna be showing up every week. They are generally reserved for much more threatening occasions. Like, they kind of come into more showing up later in the series, but even then, like, they are still dangerous. If
they are absolutely the big bads, but listen, in Batman the Animated Series, he's not going against Joker every week either.
Yeah, but the point is, like, they did this because they didn't want the Decepticons to be a bunch of fucking bumbling idiot cartoon villains who get thwarted every week. They wanted the Decepticon to carry weight. And so what happens here is the Bumblebee gets hit once by Starscream, and he fucking goes out like a light.
Yep.
He's done. And Starscream grabs Bumblebee's fucking unconscious frame by the wrist, waves him around at Optimus, and this is the shot where he looks like a fucking doll in Starscream's grip. He's like a fourth Starscream size or something. And Starscream just goes, all right, here's the deal. You bring me the Allspark.
Well, what he says first is that he's like, bring me the Allspark, and Optimus is like, I'd sacrifice my life for it. And Starscream's like, bet, but would you sacrifice your friend's life?
Yeah, and points his gun at Bumblebee. And so then he throws Bumblebee into the train, closes it up, and flies up to some deck tower, and he says, all right, bring me the Allspark in an hour, or everyone on this fucking vehicle, Autobot and human, dies. Luckily, he ignored Sorry. Sorry managed to not be put on the death train.
But her dad did, and that matters enough to her.
Yeah. She doesn't want her dad to be reduced to a pile of chunky marinara. So the Autobots go to formulate a plan. And Sorry's kind of running alongside, like, hey, listen, I got a plan. And Optimus says,
I want to point out one thing here. So first of all, Starscream's like, cool, like, you know where to find me, and he transforms and just circles around the tower, which is really funny. But Optimus just sort of like stares at him, and then Ratchet's like, how we feeling about that hero business, basically? And Optimus looks at him and goes, I'm supposed to choose between the Allspark and the Earth. How am I supposed to make that choice? And Ratchet's like, well, that's what it means.
Yeah, he's like, heroes are the ones who make those fucking impossible choices. Sorry, bud. Shit sucks. That's what I want to tell you. And
hit the bricks.
This is when Sorry's like, hey, I got a plan. And Optimus says, that's nice. Go away.
He's like, yeah, I think we'll handle it.
And she starts crying. And Bulkhead's like, oh, no, she sprung a leak. Why's she doing that? She's like, you humans cry when we're sad or scared. And my dad is up there. And he's going to die. And I don't want him. I'm so scared. And Optimus is like, oh, okay, fine. We'll hear your plan. And she says, great. Immediately snaps out of it.
And then she looks at Vulcan and goes, it is also very good for getting what you want.
So she has the plan, and we kind of cut past the plan, obviously, because you don't show the plan in a situation like this. So
no, she says what it is.
Oh, does she?
Yeah, no, she said because she says, she's like, okay, here's my plan. Prowl and I will go and, like, you guys cause a distraction, and Prowl and I will go up and save my dad, and then figure something out from there.
And Optimus goes, okay,
right.
What?
And he goes, and she's like, and because I have the key, which you don't have, but I have the key to the Allspark, and I'll just revive Bumblebee there, and, like, then we'll all be good. And Optimus is like, we will take it under consideration. Sorry.
Yeah, and so, but Optimus is like, hey, how do we distract Starscream? And they come now.
There's only one thing. Like, none of us can fly, which means we need to bring him down here. And there's only one thing that will do that.
Now, I thought that perhaps this was some kind of fake Allspark.
So did I. To be fair, I couldn't imagine how they would make a fake Allspark that quickly.
Yeah, that's a nice. They must have a 3D printer on the Ark or something.
Yeah.
Teletrain 1, download allspark.dat from the fucking 3D printer templates. So yeah, they have the Allspark. Ratchet and Bulkhead are kind of...
Yeah, what's the name of the transformer that transforms into a 3D printer?
Oh, fuck. I don't know enough about 3D printers to make a good joke.
Polymer.
Fuck, there we go. Honestly, they should make a functioning 3D printer that looks like Perceptor. That's what I think they should do. Anyway, I mean, listen, they made a functioning computer mouse. Surely it can't be that much harder to engineer a functioning 3D printer that also transforms.
Yeah, but Perceptor being something that zooms is important to me, I think.
That's true. He needs to be a guy who looks at stuff.
Yeah, that's the Perceptor name.
So yeah, Optimus has the Allspark and he's on top of a building. Ratchet and Bulkhead are kind of somewhere below on a highway. And Prowl and Sorry are climbing up a blimp to scale the tower. And Optimus is like, hey, fuckface, got your Allspark. And they kind of have a little standoff where Starscream doesn't want to come down. It's all right, bring it here then. And Optimus like, no, you come get it. And he finally goes down there once Optimus threatens to fucking slice it in half. He's like, okay, all right, let's not be hasty.
Well, yeah. At first, like Optimus is like, if you don't come down here, so Starscream's like, give me the Allspark, and Optimus is like, give us the hostages, and Starscream's like, give me the Allspark. And Optimus is like, if I give you the Allspark, you are just going to kill the hostages. And Starscream's like, if you don't, I will kill them right now immediately. So like, figure that shit out.
Yeah, we're negotiating here.
Like, and Optimus is like, on God, if you kill them, I will destroy the Allspark myself. And Starscream says, don't try to deceive a Decepticon. We are the masters of it. I know you wouldn't destroy the Allspark. And Optimus is like, bet? And like takes out his axe and goes right for it, and Starscream flies down. It's like, okay, hold up.
Whoa.
John Mulaney, hang on, wait a minute, hang on.
So, while they're doing that, Prowl manages to sneak Sari into the train car. She says hello to her dad. She revives Bumblebee, and Prowl takes the rest of the humans down while she's doing that. How unfortunately, Fanzone can't keep quiet. He makes a noise. Starscream turns around and he goes,
he doesn't just make a noise. He yells at the top of his lungs, I hate machines.
Yes, and Starscream turns around and says, that sounds like a fucking police captain station who immigrated from Fargo, North Dakota. Wait a minute. You're trying to fuck me on this. And so he blasts the train. And Bumblebee and Sari are now falling to their deaths. Not great, but they manage to save Bumblebee and Sari. So like they get Bumblebee out of the train through the rear. Like Prowl cuts the back open or something. He transforms, buckles Sari in, and then Ratchet catches him with his magnets. And everything is fine. And then Starscream starts shooting at them again.
Yeah. My favorite part is when he goes after Prowl, who I know is not the second in command of the TFA universe, but every time I see Starscream and Prowl fighting, it makes my heart smile in any universe. Because it's really like, the seconds are fighting!
Going after each other. My commander is cooler. No, my commander is cooler.
That's the fun thing about Prowl and Starscream is that they both equally suck as second in command.
That's true.
They are both equally shitty first lieutenants.
That's very true. So yeah, we then engage in Operation Keep Away with Starscream. And
Sari even explicitly calls it that. She's like, I know this game. It's called Keep Away.
Yeah, so we get Optimus chucking it to Ratchet, who chucks it to Bumblebee, who chucks it to Bulkhead, who misses it. It's so funny. He's like, I got it, and he misses it. And Starscream says something snide, and then Bulkhead just nails him right in the gut with the wrecking ball, and he picks the Allspark up and says, I said I got it.
It's
there's
good.
There's a little bit of that prime Bulkhead in that boy still. It's in there. But yeah, it doesn't last forever, unfortunately. Because guess what? Starscream is a Decepticon who has guns strapped to his arms. At some point, okay. So Optimus has a few gadgets, right?
Yeah.
He's got the fire axe, which is very cool. It's got rockets on the back of it. It's got an extendo pole. It's very neat. He's got a grappling hook in his arm. He has a fire retardant foam dispenser also in his arm. And he does squirt it.
You mean the Cum Cannon?
Yeah, he does. He has a Cum Cannon, and he squirts it directly in Starscream's face at some point.
Oh yeah, no, he. I have a note, not the facial.
But he actually, I like the maneuver of him like using it on Starscream's afterburners to plunge him out of the sky. That was cool.
Yeah, so again, Starscream could easily kill any of these Autobots on their own, but through a combination of teamwork, they are able to bring him down. So, Optimus takes out his thrusters, Ratchet drags him down with the magnets, Bulkhead whacks him real hard with the wrecking ball, and
Bumblebee does something.
Yeah, they're able to sort of to take him down, or at least it seems that way. And then the Starscream's like, "Fuck all of you," actually, and just like puts his wrists together and blasts them big time.
Yeah, I think one of the things that always appealed to me about animated's action sequences is the like power imbalance of these guys basically have to figure out how to defeat living war machines 3 times their size with a bunch of fucking tools, right? Like, and there's a lot of creative stuff that goes into that. In most other shows, Autobots and Decepticons are all on equal footing in terms of like armaments. But in this show, Autobots have to be a lot trickier and more clever with stuff like that. I think the other show that has a conscious choice of like not giving their protagonists like guns or normal weapons is Beast Machines, from what I understand. But I think that one got way more muddled and wasn't as fun. But this is like, it's cool. It's cool to see all of them use their abilities to work together. However, Prowl is just a ninja. He is like I said, he's the only one who's literally just a guy who kills people. Yes. I don't know why he's on this construction team. I mean, I know why, but
because he's the guy who sucks.
Yeah, like I know
Unlike
how
Sentinel, he's the guy who sucks and has depression. But
yeah, like I know, I watched the whole show. I know how he ended up here. It's just very funny that this is like he's not built for this. All the others are like they've got abilities and tools useful to digging rocks out, but he's got shuriken. But yeah, so Starscream blasts him with the null rays. And then grabs the Allspark and starts doing a billion 9/11s.
Yeah. He's just... So he's like, hey, no, it's a fun thing about the thing that gifts all life. It can also destroy all life really easy. Check this shit out.
He literally, like, it looks like he fucking nukes Detroit. It's insane. There's a giant explosion.
I'm not sure how they got away with this, actually.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It is very explicitly killing thousands of people.
And like, I guess we never see it, but we do see people, the Autobots rescuing people from the rubble, and they normally they'd say miraculously everyone survived, but they never actually say that.
No, it is very clear that people died. Like, lots of people died in this.
And also, yeah, between that and like Starscream flying low in a city. I mean, I guess it was 2008. We were a little bit past that point, but like, still, it's crazy.
I'm not 100% sure how they got away with this, but yeah, he's having a great time. He's like, wow, this rules. This is literally everything I ever wanted. Power is awesome. I'm having a great time, and like Ratchet's like, so this is how democracy ends. And Optimus just goes, not without a fight. And while
it's cool.
While Starscream is just going like absolutely crazy with power, and he doesn't give a shit about the Autobots anymore. Why should he? To be fair,
yeah, he's not even looking.
Yeah, he does not give a shit about what they're doing. So Optimus takes the opportunity, using his axe and little claws on his feet, to scale a building,
and just jumps and tackles Starscream out of the air. By the way, I just want to say I love that Sumdac Tower is like a big spark plug. It looks cool. Yeah.
And this is the part where he gives Starscream a facial.
Yeah, this is it. So they're fighting all across the city. They're like slugging it out. They eventually both get a hand on the Allspark. But then the Allspark starts glowing really bright and levitates above Detroit and starts giving off gigantic rings of radiation. And both of them are just like, oh, Christ, what is happening? And then a big explosion, and Starscream is not there anymore.
Starscream death count 2.
Like, I don't even think we see him fly into the horizon. We just don't know where he went.
No,
he's
just dead.
Gone.
He's dead.
He's not actually dead, but he's pretty dead.
Starscream death counter 2. It counts.
It counts. Spiritually, he's dead. But yeah, unfortunately, however, the explosion also severely fucked up Prime, who is clinging to a billboard. Clearly, like, he's super battered. He's got the Allspark, and he's clinging to the billboard. but then he slips and falls a bajillion feet and dies.
Yeah. So, good night, sweet prince. He's like in the crater that his body has created, and everyone comes rushing over to him, and he just looks up and he goes, "So this is what it feels like to be a hero."
And dies. He fades to
Offlines
gray.
immediately.
His body fades to gray, just like G1.
Yep.
And immediately Ratchet scans him and is like, well, shit, he's just dead.
Yeah, well, and I was like, he's gray already, Ratchet. Come on now.
Yeah, you know, you're a medic. You know what this means. His spark has been extinguished, and so they're all mourning him. And Sorry is like, what the fuck? We're just gonna give up? And they're like, sorry, there's nothing left to revive.
Super duper dead.
And she's crying, and there's a nice thing where Bulkhead's like, I don't think this is gonna get you what you want.
Yeah.
But she grabs that key, and like she's like, I'm not gonna. Prime didn't give up. I'm not gonna give up either. Fuck this.
And what is the equivalent of Primus throwing a Pokeball and going, "I choose you"?
Yep. She shoves the key into his chest, and then the Allspark, which is still sitting next to them, activates and pours energy into Optimus, reigniting his spark. And we actually see it. We see his spark start to pulse, and the color returns to his body. By the way, this is definitely the fastest turnaround at an Optimus death in Transformers history.
Yeah.
Second fastest is probably Revenge of the Fallen.
Armada? Oh, wait.
No,
Oh, yeah.
Because that's a Sub-2 movie. Then it's Armada. But yeah, like, he's back. Allspark's done. And Sorry is still crying. And, it's like... I love this line because he comes online again and he's like, is this the Well of All Sparks? And she's like, no, it's Detroit.
Oh, I'm in hell.
Yeah. And Bulkhead's like, I thought humans only cried when they were sad. And Sorry responds, you have a lot to learn about humanity still. Yeah, we get the montage of them fixing up the city.
And
Definitely.
Speaking of learning things about humanity.
Yeah. Before that, I do want to know there's a fun thing where it's Bulkhead, it's Bumblebee and Bulkhead like repairing a bridge, and Bumblebee just goes like, pretty funny that we're stuck building bridges again. I thought that's exactly what we were trying to get away from. So simply ironic. But then we cut to Sumdak's lab.
So just head?
Yeah, so what I love is that when the establishing shot pans past Megatron's head, like you see it for a minute and you're like, wait, hang on, what was that? By the way, this motherfucker is using Megatron's hand as a chair.
Yeah, listen.
Now that's a little gruesome. Obviously he doesn't know he's alive, but like, come on.
Hey, listen, repurpose, reuse, recycle.
Yeah, Sumdak muses like, I do owe them a lot, more than they could ever know, more than they should ever know. Like I can't tell them the truth about the source of my robotics empire. And he turns out the lights and we pan over, and it's just head. It's Megatron's head.
Secret
head. Megatron gets reduced to a head
in the basement.
If I had a nickel for every time a Megatron was reduced to a disembodied head, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it happened twice. But yeah, and we kind of zoom in on Megatron's optics, still glowing. That motherfucker's not dead. Yeah, that's where we end with the little stinger of like, ooh, he's still here. But yeah, I love the wrinkle of like Sumdak knowing exactly what he's done is fucked up and just not telling anyone. It's great. He's like we said, he's a very interesting and well-rounded character. It's just that unfortunately he's saddled with this problematic vocal performance.
Problematic, yeah. To put it mildly, yes.
Uh-huh. So that's Transform and Roll Out, the sort of beginning of the animated franchise, and I think it's a great beginning. Like, honestly, if I had like Darkness Rising is also a good introduction to Prime, but I feel like this 3-parter is like, it's a snappy and like it gets you right into like, this is what the show is. Here's what we're gonna do. Here's all the shit that's about to go down.
Yeah. Absolutely. I think it may be like the best opening of any series for this series. Yeah. I still think that Darkness Rising is the best sort of opener for like the franchise.
By the
Right?
way, something I didn't note, but like these three episodes look fucking good. Like there's some
Yeah.
great animation in these.
Yeah.
Some very anime-esque, some very anime moments too. Specifically when Fan Zone is directing everyone to shoot the bug. Very anime on that one. His like movements and shit.
Yeah, I mean, in general, this was very quintessential of its time.
Yeah.
You know, it really had that 2007, and again, it's because a lot of the same team that was doing most of the most successful shows from the cartoons from like 2004 to 2008 were working on this show. So, you know, it followed along their style, but like this was sort of the era pre-Adventure Time.
Yeah.
And I guess what we're calling like the Cal Arts style.
Yeah,
now.
like Adventure Time, regular shows, Steven
yeah.
Universe, all of that stuff. Like where things got much softer and like there was still action, but it had other focus.
It's not even. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to describe the difference, but again, if you look at things like Hi Hi Puffy Yumi, or
Yeah.
if you look at things like Teen Titans,
Ben 10, like
Ben
all the
10,
shows.
yeah, then Generator X, you know, like that's the sort of style that we're going with here. American Dragon.
Yes. Oh yeah, big. Yeah, very
you know,
very big American Dragon vibes.
So those are sort of all quintessential influences, and again, like I said, a lot of the people were working on those shows as well who ended up working on animated, which is why it's so stylistically similar. In the same way that so many people who worked on Adventure Time ended up going on to do all the other Cal Art shows since then. But
Adventure Time really was like the spawning point of most of the next generation of Cartoon Network. Yeah.
Yeah, it absolutely like marked the shift between this generation and the next one of cartoons. So anyway, the style is very, there was, I would say, more anime influence back in those days in that style as well. So you get to see some of those, like the big eyes, the sort of sharp tooth mouths on some people. You get a lot of that stuff in animated as well.
Yeah, and I am very much looking forward to getting further in this show because I think there is like some legitimately great character work and plot lines that unfold over the course of the show. Like Black Arachne's stuff is very interesting once we kind of get deeper into that stuff. Ratchet has a lot of depth in this show. Prowl, like everyone here is gonna have like some cool shit to do, which I'm always a fan of. Like I think this show more than any other is like a big ensemble. Like it's sort of similar to Prime in that regard, where everyone's gonna get their own thing. But I think it's a little bit more evenly handed out than Prime is, because I think there's like a hierarchy of like, obviously, I think if Bulkhead and RC get a lot of the stuff in Prime, then it's like Bumblebee and Optimus. I think Ratchet, he gets a lot of spotlight in Prime, but he's definitely like kind of the least one to like, because he is the base guy. He's the guy who stays behind. But
right. Well, the main difference in animated is that there's only one human character.
Yes.
One human companion.
She has unique relationships with all of the bots.
Correct.
Like
rather than having like these pairs, which sort of establish who the most important characters are.
That's true. Everyone gets to have their sort of thing. Like, you know, we already discussed that like Sorry and Bumblebee very sibling like, pretty close in like mental age. Like Sorry and Ratchet already have this like, man, my cranky old grandpa type of thing. You know, it's great. We should get to these questions though, because we have quite a few of them.
Can we? I have to get to sleep soon. Can we keep them for next week? We're at 2 hours already.
We are at 2 hours. This is a lot of show to cover. There's a lot to discuss. Yeah, sure. We can. We'll save the questions for next week. So yeah, extra long question post next week. It should be fine. One of the episodes we're watching next week ain't gonna be a lot. There's a Goop Man in it. That's the thing about animated. There's some really good episodes, and then there's just a goop man, you know? And you gotta deal with it.
Goop man.
Sometimes there's a man who goes really fast. Sometimes, what if Robin Hood was a supervillain? You know? It's just the world we live in. This is New Detroit. Greatest city in the world, baby. All right, let's do some plugs. I'm on Twitter, unfortunately, at Dragon Smoocher. You can find various other projects in various other places, such as Radio Free Heidelin, the Final Fantasy XIV comprehensive companion podcast I do with my friend Jane. That's at Heidelin Free Radio. It's at Heidelin Radio on Twitter. It is late. Holy shit. And you can find our previous show covering the 2018 She-Ra show at Podcast of Power on Twitter. I am also on Disney Minus over at Disney Minus Pod. We recently watched the Rescue Rangers movie. It's really bad. It's not good. Don't watch it. It sucks ass.
We watched it so you don't have to.
Exactly. That's me.
I'm Audrey. You can find me on Tumblr and Twitter at Optimum on Prime. That's my funny robot internet joke. You can also listen to the other podcast I do. It's called Pot of Greed. It's about Yu-Gi-Oh! You can find it at Pot of Greed Cast on Twitter. And we are about to start recording again. So that's exciting. Where we'll be doing season 4, the fourth season of GX. Everyone gets to be subbed this season because there is no dub.
4Kids doesn't want you to know.
Yeah, this is the future liberals want. Yeah, that's it for me. You can find both that podcast and this podcast on the Noise Space Network, which you can find at noisepace.xyz. You can find this particular podcast as well at Prime Cuts Pod on Twitter. Follow us there. Join our Discord. You can find a link to the Discord in the description of this and every other episode, as well as our URL in our Twitter bio.
It's I'm glad the Discord has been populated enough where now Discord tells me, "Are you sure you want to add everyone?" When I try to do it now. So hey, we're getting there.
Yeah. We've been doing some really fun things in between series. Again, we're going between. We're gonna show all of the major motion pictures for the Transformers franchise in order. After that, I'm gonna stream some video games.
Hey, you don't want to miss Revenge of the Fallen after this season, or maybe you do. It's very bad.
I'm gonna be out of the country for that one, so
you're literally fleeing the country to avoid seeing Skids and Mudflap. I understand.
I was actually looking at the schedule after I had had to redo it, and I was like, "Oh, that's beautiful."
Unfortunately, I have a grim duty.
you have a grim duty, my friend. But that's on you. I'll be in Spain. Yeah, so we do a lot of fun things between seasons, and we have some fun things coming up, and it's also the first place that you get to hear about things, and there are some very cool things in the future, I will say, for this show.
Yes.
So you don't want to miss those announcements. And that's it for me. So, until next time, I'm going to get loosey-goosey with my animation, transform and roll out.
I am going to monologue towards the imploding sun that is currently about to vaporize my face, transform and roll out.
Peach!